Here's my review of X-Men 97, Episode 7 review. This was another really good episode with a lot of great surprises, but I don't think I liked it. I don't think this was my favorite episode, but I still think it was great. Like, that just proves how good the show is. And there's a lot to like here. I mean, first we start off with a beautiful funeral scene for Gambit, and I love seeing Nightcrawler as basically the priest and like the host of this funeral because I think Nightcrawler is a very interesting character. I think that he's a character. I mean, like many of the stuff in the X Men movies, that he didn't really get that much time to shine. Like he had a great scene in the opening of um, X2, and he was great in the original animated series, but like in the actual movies, he never really got that much time to shine. And I thought that he was great here, even though he was kind of just a small part of it. And I think that this whole funeral scene was great. It really reminded me of Invincible, but I think that this felt like it had even more weight, especially considering what happens later on in Invincible. And we get some really fun cameos. Like we get to see some Captain America in here, where Rogue is tracking down Trask. After I mean, of course, he was with the Sentinels after who killed Remy, aka Gambit, and I mean, she's really mad, so she's trying to track him down. And I swear, I love Rogue. She's one of my favorite characters in this episode, and just in the show in general. And just seeing how far Rogue is willing to go, kind of seeing how she's kind of losing it. Which I mean, it's interesting because this is a character that I think it's you could tell this is a good, like, she is a good person, but you could see how she is kind of losing it after Remy's death. And I think that in a way though, I kind of like it because it just shows this more human side. I mean, of course, someone who she loved was murdered. Of course, she's gonna be kind of upset, and I think that it was handled beautifully here. From the animation to the dialogue to the voice acting, it was all chef's kiss. I love the also like how she has Bolivar Trask. Um, Basically, she's interrogating him, and I like that she drops him. Like she lets him die, and I like that. I think it shows a realistic portrayal of what vengeance can really do and what this grief in this sadness can do. And I agree with Rogue. I think that I don't know if really like it's for the sake of the X-Men that maybe it's probably not a good idea for in the grand scheme of things, especially considering the X-Men what they're about. They need to be accepted, and then doing stuff like that will make them even worse. But I agree with what Rogue did. And we get this great scene at the end where revealing where that Magneto is still alive and he is captured. And I'm gonna be honest, and then he started to get shaved. And I'm gonna be honest, when I saw this scene, I couldn't help but think of this scene from Reservoir Dogs where Mr. Blonde is like interrogating that cop. Maybe it's just me. I don't know if that's supposed to be a reference, but I just watched Reservoir Dogs again for like the other day. So I'm like, this really reminds me of that scene. So I don't know if that's intentionally a reference, but I don't know. I just kind of made me think of that. So yeah, from the fun cameos to the great emotion to of course another like reveal with Mr. Sinister, who I think has such a cool design, but I'm kind of confused. Like if they want him to be this main villain, I'm kind of confused though on like what his goals are. I wish we'd know more about him. And I think this show is only gonna have 10 episodes, and like next week starts this 3-part finale. Which I mean, hey, every single episode has been great so far, but I am kind of a little worried that they might not be able to properly build Sinister up. But hey, one can hope. So yeah, I thought this was another fantastic episode. I think that this is one of my favorite shows of the year. I mean, I don't really have any major complaints with this show. I thought this was another really good episode. And yeah, I don't really have any complaints. I thought it was another great episode.